Hello everyone, in this video I'll show you how to do 3D button animation in Unity 3D. This is the problem that I faced during one of my work and I thought I'd share this solution with you guys. First of all, we need to understand how keypad works. Usually keypad consists of many buttons, and the way it animates, or in real life the way it works, is whenever I press one, it should work like this in real life. As this is a game engine, there are actually two ways to go and solve this issue. For different camera angle, we have perspective mode and orthographic mode, and I'll show you both solution for both projection system or camera angle. This is my setup. You can have whatever setup you have for your game. You just need to understand which exact method you need to use. I have an empty game object and a keypad controller and all the keys. So what I did, let me open up the script. Don't worry about the commented sections. First, I have taken the display that represents whenever we press a key, it should show what is the value, like this. This is the display, and I took X value, Y value and Z value as a float. These are actually our main source of how we animate, and I took another string as key name that will pass in to show what key we pressed. I will show you one and then you can understand. I took a event trigger and it is pointer click, so whenever we click on this game object, that is 1, this event should be triggered. I took a reference to our keypad. As the setKeypad function takes a game object, set the reference the 1, and similarly for all of the buttons. As you can see here, the X value is 0, Y value is 0 and Z value is 0.05. You need to understand one thing though, it doesn't matter, your Z axis is not aligned towards the direction you are pressing your button, because you can then change this to 0, and whether the direction is X or Y, you can set the value there. Anyway, we have our perspective view, and for perspective view, whenever we are taking the game object, that is our buttons, we initialize its default position and keep it as a reference, and then we set local position of our current button to vector 3 and add all the XYZ values. And as we set the X and Y value to 0, nothing should change on the local position X and Y, but the Z value is 0.05 should be increased, and this way it will seem as that it is animating. And then our key name is hash. It functions as a delete all the text, current text, else our display text should be plus equal to our key name. We don't want to assign it like this, because this will just show one value at a time and it will circle like that. Let me show you what will happen then. See, this is a problem. What we want is, we want all the values we press. We do this, we add to whatever exists in the text. Then we do a coroutine where after 1 second button's local position goes to the default position. That means when we press, it goes down here and then it goes back up here, so it animates like a real life button. Let me show you. See, this is how it works. Now there are few reasons to use the local position in the perspective, and also the positioning system won't work on orthographic view. Let me show you why. Let's say our local position code is active and I have selected the orthographic view. See, we are pressing, we can see in the scene view it is indeed working, but we cannot see anything, because if you look at the camera, the way the perspective view and the orthographic view works is, the orthographic view represents a 2D space and a 2D screen, and the perspective view works as in real life. It has depth in it, so it has only X and Y, so I can certainly move left and right, it will be noticeable, but on the third axis it won't be. You might want and try to do it with the position, that is alt position, but the problem arises when, let me show you. This will actually work. Okay, I think I've made a mistake. Oh, I think the value should be increased as it is at the world position. Okay, now it is working. But if this works, why should we use local position? The problem is that your keypad won't be always in this setup. So let's say if your keypad is in this position, whenever you press, you can see in the scene it is acting weird. See? Okay. And you can see in the transform section, the position should only be increased or decreased in Z axis like this, but whenever I press, you can see the position increase and decreases on the X and Z axis because it is calculating the world position, not the local position of its axis. You can see why it is happening by selecting the local or global section. This is why you need to use the local section, and then you can have your keypad in any orientation and your keys should work. Now as for orthographic view, we are using localScale instead of local position or even the global position or the world position. The reason is, as I said earlier, that on orthographic view the camera have no depth perception. However, we can do a little bit of cheat here. You can see here that whenever I try and change its position, it doesn't work. But if I try and change its scale, it seems as such that we are pressing a button. Let me show you how it works. And also, as earlier I mentioned, that the change in X and Y axis we can see, but on Z axis we cannot see. For this, we'll change all axes so it appears equal. Let's set this to 0.01. When you press, you can see it seems as such that it is actually working as it should in real life. This is a bit of a cheat, and here is the interesting thing though. While using the scale method instead of local position or global position system, the localScale method works in both perspective and the orthographic mode. The question is that which one you would use. It actually depends on your preference, and you can use the localScale, then you don't have to worry about any of the orthographic or the perspective view of the camera, or you can use it on a different level using different method. Another thing though is that what if you have on the same keypad you have another keys that is on the side. I have set up a key that is in the left. Whenever I press, it won't seem as though it's working. Whenever you are using the scale method, you can use the to the axis the button is pressed to, and then change its value to a larger number so it squeezes in that direction a bit more. Or whenever you are using the perspective mode, this should work as well. Or if you are using the local positioning system, then you need to do a bit trick. For the side button, the axis is rotated towards the X axis, but we cannot change here because all the other keys are using the same script. So what we do is we copy it and we paste it as new, but instead of using the keypad reference, we'll give it this script reference and then set keypad function and give its reference. But instead of set the G value, we'll use the x value and set the others to 0. In this way you can set all the other keys as is, and as you can see here it is working just fine. So this is the way you can make your keypad in your game animate that work as in real life. You can also use the animation for button, but I think that is not efficient, as in this case I might have taken a long time, but this code is not very long and you can just copy and paste it, and it is really small and you don't have to use all the method as I have, or maybe you can based on your preference. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and remember, take care of yourself and people around you. Goodbye.